The Double Tenor Steelpan. We're going to talk about its range, its rules, functions, and how do we think about all of this in the context of steelpan arranging. Welcome to Steelpan Arranging with Dike Samai. I am Dike Samai. Let's get started. So the double tenor pan, if you think of the tenor as a violin in an orchestra, then the double tenor could function as a violin too, like a slightly lower part below the violin. So it's the same thing with the double tenor. So it fits just underneath the tenor on a score, and because there are two pans, left side and right side, there's an extended range. So there are lower notes that the double tenor could play that the tenor can't play. So the tenor goes down to a C4 or middle C, and the double tenor could go all the way down to a low F. So the typical range is around a low F or F3 all the way up to either a B or a B flat 4. Again, it depends on which orchestra you go to, because the pans are different, because there is no standardization really for pan, unfortunately. So depending on what orchestra you go to, the pans might be different. For example, I've played a double tenor where there's a low F, there's a high F sharp, and then there's a low G. So there's no low F sharp. But on most double tenors, the E flat is on the left pan. But on that particular style, the E flat was on the right pan. So as an arranger, you have to think about these things, because with chords, you have to think about the hand placements for the players, because if the hand placements are too difficult, they won't be able to play it that quickly. So if you want them to play an E flat and a G on the regular one, the one where the E flat is on the left side, then that would look like this. But if you use the one where the E flat is on the right, then E flat and G will not be here. So therefore, movements would be different. So you would need to know the exact layout of the instruments in the orchestra that you are arranging for, to ensure that you know exactly where the notes are, and then you could use that information to inform how you figure out what chords to play and where those chords would go. So when we talk about the rules of the double tenor, one of the main functions of the double tenor is to play the melody with the tenors. It could double it at pitch, which means that it plays the exact same pitch, whether it's C4 or C5 or D4 or D5, meaning which octave it is. Or it could also play the exact same melody that the tenors are playing, but down the octave. And there's a slight difference, and we'll get into that. I'll show you an example a bit later on, where you could hear the difference between doubling the melody at pitch and doubling the melody down the octave. It's a slight difference. So another rule that the double tenor has is to harmonize the melody, usually below the tenors, and that gives it a more interesting sound, because it's not just the same pitch being played, but it's a harmony being played, two different pitches at the same time being played, and that increases the richness. The music tends to sound fuller and richer when there's a harmony included in the melody. So tenors usually play the melody and harmonize, and the double tenors could either play the melody at pitch down the octave, or it could even harmonize, usually below the melody. Another common rule and function of the double tenor is to support the middle section when they have solos. So if there's a cello solo happening in the middle section, a common tactic is to double that cello solo, that melody line, up the octave in the double tenor section. So they're not playing at pitch, similarly to to playing the melody with the tenors at pitch and down the octave. It's the same thing here, where the higher melody acts as projection and clarity, and the lower parts function as foundational support. So when you have foundational support and projection and clarity together, you get a very clear, powerful sound, and that's a very common tactic. Now, there is another rule that I've seen and I've done before with double tenors, is to have them strum. Now, this is not very common, because double tenors aren't really used to strum as often, because it's usually used as a melodic instrument. But sometimes, depending on the instrumentation that you have, you might need to have the double tenors strum maybe in the lower sections, the lower octave, or maybe in the middle range, depending on where the melody is. And you might have to do that if you don't have enough guitars, or you don't have enough cellos, or if you don't have enough of a particular instrument. You have to pick and choose, you have to change around the orchestration and your ideas to get a balanced sound, because the main thing you want to ensure that you have overall is a balanced sound. So sometimes you might need to have the double seconds and the double tenors strumming while the middle section plays their lines, simply because you don't have enough middle section pans to add to the strumming part. So those are the roles and functions of the double tenor. I hope you like this video. Please click like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you are aware when I upload new videos. I'll see you in the next video where we talk about the range, roles, and functions of the double second pan. Take care.